Did you guys see the calendar for the new fusion for Granyt Doorkeep? This fusion is pretty expensive for what it brings and for how bad the fusion is. This is a waste of resources. I wanted to give you a quick heads up on the calendar because you already know I made this video with 5 reasons why you shouldn't get Granyt Doorkeep. But in this video I want to give you 2 more reasons why this fusion is a waste of resources for yourself. Like, I know that for people that are end game, getting a fusion is quite easy and it's a free champion, and usually everybody is going for any fusion they throw at us. But for other people like myself or a mid-game player or somebody who doesn't really want to spend their resources randomly on every single fusion that comes out, this fusion is a fair example on why you shouldn't get any, or at least every fusions. You guys asked me many times, how do you all the time get the fusion? How do you have enough resources to go for this fusion? How did you get Donatello? And how did you get the Titan events? Where did you get all this? Pretty much all the resources in the game are limited. They're also enough for you to get a fusion every now and then. If you're not endgame player, it might not be enough for you to get every fusion, one after another. Especially if they give us a good fusion or a good champion that needs a soul, and then they throw us a Titan event and you might need a 5-star. If it's a damage dealer, or if it's a champion that needs resistance or accuracy, you will go for the 5-star soul. Or if it's a damage dealer, you need a 4-star for the crit damage, right? But let's talk a bit about the calendar fusion here. Because maybe you didn't really realize what's the matter here and what's the big problem. The big problem in this calendar, if you look at it, can I zoom it in a little bit more? Yeah, there you go. If you look at the calendar here, there's quite a few gaps in the events. 29 to 2nd. You have only 2 dips. You don't have triple dips as usual, so your resource management wouldn't be the most efficient. And you have 2 double dips. Now Gear Hunters were Fire Knight. Then you have again 2 double dips again, but look at this, look at these big gaps here, you know. So this fusion champion will end up quite expensive just because you wouldn't be able to use your resources as efficient as possible. I understand now that they rebranded Gear Hunters, but I also want to show you something here. The Gear Hunter event, now that they rebranded, is the usual event that you would have to go and loot as much artifacts and items as possible to get points. But look at this. They made it a bit more expensive than usual. But then again, if you go back to the calendar here, probably after this champion fusion ends, they will also introduce a Titan event here somewhere. Who knows? Because there's also Leonardo Deck of Fate, or not really Deck of Fate, but the Hero Path coming as well. If you go for this fusion event and you go for the Summon Rush, you have a Summon Rush here, and you have another Champion Chase here, you will end up spending a few resources that you will need on Leonardo too. I know that I've shown you the video with 5 reasons on why not to get Granyt Doorkeep, and some of you said that I made a mistake there. I understand that I made a mistake where I said that he's a single target skill that does 100% more damage against enemies with no unkillable stone skin or block damage. I said that where is this 100% extra damage when he used his AoE? I understand I made a mistake there, but still in the video I've also shown multiple instances of gameplay where he used his single target skill and he wasn't able to down them. So that's a big issue there as well. Needless to say, his AoE attack was pretty bad. He wasn't really able to down many champions in arena. Although he has his uses, and I'm not gonna lie. A lot of you guys actually mentioned about his 15% shatter and 30% increased crit damage, and you said this might be useful in the future if they add new bosses or new mechanics, or who knows if they would add something like that in the future. So because I like to live in the present and I've seen that this champion is pretty trash, I'm still gonna emphasize the fact that he's a waste of resources. And now seeing this and analyzing this calendar even more compared to previous calendars, there's a few gaps in here. The resource management is not the most efficient, so this champion will end up being a bit more pricier than a usual fusion. So that's my sixth reason on why you shouldn't still go for Granyt Doorkeep. Although here in the end, it's worth mentioning with this champion chase tournament, they might, we don't know yet, but they might add a Titan event for the guy to get his perfect soul, right? If you would go for his blessing, or if you actually decided to fuse him. So there might add a Titan event that could potentially overlap with the champion chase in the end, and you might find some points in there for the Titan event. So that's one very important thing worth mentioning, which again is gonna make it a troublesome, I would say, for some of us, especially if we gonna go for Leonardo, because Leonardo starts as soon as this guy ends, and Leonardo might be a summon event. But for those of us who are in the end game, I'm not really in the end game, but I can easily get enough sacred shards to pull for Leonardo, or to use the sacred shards in the hero path to get enough points to get Leonardo. The only thing is that if we go for Leonardo, we need his perfect soul as well. So you will need to pull double the sacred shards or void shards. You can just combine them as well. So yeah. And then if you would be to use some of these resources into summon rush and champion chase, or you would have to push even more resources into champion chase to overlap to get the points for the Titan event for this guy, then I think you're pretty scuffed for the Leonardo, for getting Leonardo. And Leonardo is much better than this guy. I've already showcased gameplay with this guy in previous videos, so go ahead and watch that if you want to see how bad its damage is. His utility is alright, but if you put this guy into your team, you're missing a spot for another champion that could be even more impactful. Take this with a grain of salt. If you really like the champion, go for it. If you like your resources more than getting random champions, listen to me. Forget about these champions. There's always going to be more champions added further down the line, newer champions, nicer champions, and this guy is also a spirit affinity. So we don't really need spirit affinities anymore at this point in game. We need something stronger. We need a void affinity. We need, like Leonardo. Leonardo is void affinity. Another strong reason for you to go for Leonardo instead of Granyt Doorkeep. Void affinity, far superior than any other affinities. So that being said, guys, I wanted to update you on this calendar and my thoughts on it. And I also wanted to answer a few of your questions from Reddit and YouTube that you asked me, how do you get all these resources, or how can you manage these resources so well that you're getting all these nice champions? You know, I went for Tholin. Tholin is amazing. He can smacks. I went for Donatello and his perfect soul, and you guys messaged me, yo, how did you get all these stuff? You know, like I tried going for Donatello and I ran out of resources midway. That's how. You look at the calendar first. If you see gaps in the calendar, you need to reconsider your resource management. And you also need to think about how strong and impactful the champion is. Look at some videos on YouTube, look at some content creators, look at the gameplay. Listen to the video for 15 minutes. It's gonna worth your time. Because in that 15 minutes, you're gonna learn how good the champion is, or how bad the champion is, how strong the champion is, what can it do in various areas of the game. If you got the champion for that, if you want to get the champion for that specific niche that you need, maybe somebody told me that they need this champion for one specific niche to make a team for Siege. So I'm like, okay, if you have the resources to go for this champion for that specific niche, and you're not going to use the champion for anything else in the game, go for it. But for those of us who want the champion that's going to be more impactful, you can use it not only in PvP, but you can use it in PvE. You can take it into some clan bossing or some waves or whatnot. That's how I see things in Raid for myself. And it's been pretty successful so far. I'm not the best player in the game and I make mistakes. I talked some trash. Forgive me about that, guys. But this is how we learn. Talking about it, discussing about it, sharing our opinions. Oops, I smacked the mic. Sharing our opinions. And this is how we get better at the game as well. And this is how we get more efficient as well. And we don't just randomly throw our resources in anything we see. Because nowadays, we can get a lot of resources for free in the game. You guys also asked me, how do I get so many shards? Compared to other endgame players, these shards are nothing. They get even more than this, maybe double. But if you are around mid-game, you have a nice clan, you can do Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare clan boss. You can do Chimera, you can do... But mostly Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare clan boss. Make yourself a team that can do Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare. Build these champions up, because these two bosses here, if you down them every day, there is a chance for you to get yourself shards and books for leveling up your skills. But most importantly, shards. You can get up to 10 sacred shards a month for free just by downing these bosses. Not to say that you're also getting ancient shards and void shards, quite a few of them. And you only need to play Nightmare clan boss, Ultra Nightmare. You find yourself a team that can down them. You try to optimize the AI for those teams. You set it up here in team setup, right? You already know this stuff. I don't need to teach you this. But you optimize your one key Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare teams. Nice setups, nice gear. It's a nice and good and worth investment. You know, it's worth your silver. It's worth your plus 16 gearing. It's worth everything you do for that, because those are gonna pay back and give you shards. And whenever you have champions, like this is not a good example, the calendar here, I don't know why I put the calendar, but Leonardo will come up and he's gonna be let's say you need to pull a bunch of shards to get Leonardo and his perfect soul, to get specific points to get them from the path event, right, from the hero's path. And it's gonna be like, hey, pull 40 sacred shards to get... Pull 40 sacred shards to get... Oh, we have this. I missed this event. Anyway, pull 40 sacred shards to get yourself 160,000 points to get yourself Leonardo and his 5-star perfect soul. And then you're gonna be like, but wait a minute, I only have 5 sacred shards. Where can I get more? Well, that's a way to get more sacred shards. Ultra Nightmare and Nightmare clan boss. Besides that, sacred shards can also be found in... here in Doom Tower. Some of these bosses from hard reward sacred shards. I think normal rewards void shard here. There's another void shard further down. There's another void shard here at the boss. So you can get 2 void shards on the way. So yeah, pretty good ways to get yourself shards. So there's quite a few ways in the game right now that you can get stuff for free. You should also always buy these mystery shards when you see them in the market. It's going to help you with champion chases. You can, right, if you have 1,000 of these, you can spend 1,000 of these and you get 1,000 of points in the champion chase, and you don't really need to spend your other shards. So somehow this video went from how bad Granyt is to how to get resources. So I'm going to stop here, not to make it too overly complicated and discuss about different subjects in the same video, because obviously it's gonna distract your attention. But circling back to the reason why I made this video is just to let you know about the calendar. Calendar is shit. Granyt Fusion is expensive. The champion, it's not worth it. Don't go for it. Save your resources for the next one. Christmas is coming. Before Christmas, we have Halloween. Next season, not next season, but next fusion, it might be pretty strong. Usually Halloween events and Halloween champions are fairly decent. They're not the best, they're not the worst, but they're fairly decent. Christmas champions, they're always pretty decent. Last Christmas we had Sir Nicholas and Lady Noel. I got them and I'm using them ever since. Very strong pair. So yeah, think about what I said, and good luck pulling for your favorite champions. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye. Talking about champions, you can get 2 free legendaries and 3 S tier epic champions on top of Michelangelo if you download the game right now with the download link in the description and pinned comment. You'll get Corruptor, and then as your second legendary you can add in the promo code Demon Slayer to get Tholin Falbeard, Monkey King or Sun Wukong, get Alice for Alice the Wanderer, Desert Queen for Tuhanerak, or Tree Hugger for Green Warden War. You can choose one of these promo codes to receive the second legendary champion of your choice. And then Ugo, Taguar and Lady Kilen. Ugo, Jaguar and Lady Kilen, we don't have her anymore because we fused Lady Mikage, will follow as soon as level 15, level 25 and level 35 respectively. So if you want to support the channel, this is the best way to do it.